Hello, internet friends. Welcome back once again, and thank you all so very much for joining me here today. I do have a topic that I really want to discuss with you in today's video. There's quite a lot to get through, but first, before we get into that, I want to draw your attention, if you are interested, down to the description box below, where there's going to be some links for the BCR guided programming experience. That is the guided programming group that myself, Brandon Campbell, and Garrett Blevins are going to be co-coaching over the next few months. The way I would really present that to people is saying it is kind of a low-cost coaching alternative. If you are interested in some quality programming and having some people to use as resources to help guide you through a block of powerlifting programming and answering questions, people who are well experienced and generally well intentioned. It's the three of us are working together and providing this customized block of programming that can go anywhere from 5 to 25 weeks. And you join kind of a community and go through it with this other group of people as well as yourself. It is an excellent alternative to having one-on-one coaching, especially if you are kind of on a budget and can't afford to hire a one-on-one coach. We've done this in the past, and I can guarantee that in this particular run, I'm going to be working even more personally to be more actively involved in the community, and I just recommend checking it out. If that's something that sounds at all interesting to you, please just check those links in the description. One of them is to a video that kind of describes what's going on, and I have the utmost respect for both Brandon and for Garrett as men, as lifters, and as kind of partners in this experience and co-coaches. I think that it is a worthwhile opportunity and a great experience if it's something that sounds interesting to you. So please check that out below. And I can't encourage you to do that enough. In terms of the actual lifting footage that you're watching, this is from about 2 weeks ago. I am still getting caught up on everything, but I don't really want to skip a whole lot because I want to kind of share this journey with you as we get ready from Nationals to the Arnold Classic, where I'll be doing the Raw Challenge and the Pro Deadlift event. And the way that I kind of describe this week of training is kind of Hanny and Eric must have been trying to kill me with volume, because at the end of the week we're setting some all-time volume PRs in terms of total lifts performed, especially in the squat and in the deadlift. So you're going to see some pretty tired Ben footage in the background while we're talking about this, and you're also going to see some lifts that you've been seeing in the last couple of videos that are a little bit less traditionally the lifts that I would do, some variants that I am not particularly fond of, some conventional deadlifting, some high bar squatting, things like that. And it's basically a testament to how much I am opening myself up to the guidance of my own coaches and saying, moving forward with this humility in the approach, saying that I don't have all the answers and I want to continue learning and trying new things to grow, and it takes an open mind to do that. And that really ties into the topic that I want to get into today, which is kind of the way that we can improve our approach within our own interactions to optimize and maximize our amount of growth as people, as individuals, not just as lifters, but this is kind of a life concept that you can sort of embody, and it largely has to do with how you process ideas and understandings and perspectives that aren't necessarily your own, but are sometimes actively at odds with your own perspective. Taking in perspectives and ideas that can be downright the opposite of what you may personally hold as your own system of understanding. This really ties in heavily to, I guess, what I would kind of call social media culture. The internet is a really powerful thing. We have at our fingertips access to the world's widest most readily available source of new information and learning, and this amazing technological breakthrough that so many of us use to not its fullest potential. We tend to put ourselves into these little corners and kind of back ourselves into these much smaller boxes of understanding. And while it's very easy to let other people into your own little chamber that believe already the things that you say and already are in agreement with you, I think that it is beneficial and it is necessary for your own personal growth to also try to expand that a little bit more. I don't want to say just be more open-minded, because that doesn't really, that as a concept doesn't really help you understand what I'm trying to get at here, but it's just learning to be more comfortable dealing with people that disagree with you. I think that this was made very, very apparent in the U.S. presidential election that most recently happened. I think this is made very apparent in the way that people in the lifting community have certain opinions and feelings on different federation, I guess, inclusion or exclusion. I think that it happens just anytime we have sensitive subjects and social media is involved. We tend to not utilize these platforms to their fullest potential to continue our own growth and improvement as human beings. And so I do want to go into a couple of ideas, some things that I tend to see happening. And I'm not trying to convince anyone's mind right now. I'm not going to tell you how you should act online. I don't feel like I have the authority to do that. But what I do want to do is to share some perspectives and some ideas that may actually help you improve your own online experience in a way that can help you continue to grow as a person, and helps you avoid some of the pitfalls that can directly kind of block your ability to grow further and continue to move forward. If you guys are familiar with me at all, you know that I am a big proponent of self-growth and the acceptance that you may not be the person right now that you hope to be eventually, but to try and continue to move towards that ideal, to set some goals for yourself, not only as a lifter, not only as a musician, not only as a person who has something that you're passionate about, but also your own personal growth. And I really am also a big proponent of a person's character is based on how they treat other people and their interactions with other people. That's how you're going to be remembered. No matter what accolades you do, no matter what accomplishments you're able to achieve throughout your time on this earth, the way that you will be remembered and the way that people will look at you and think about you is the interactions that you have with others. And I think that we have more access to that now than we ever have because of the internet and because of platforms like social media. So I guess the way I really want to get into this idea is we have this bad habit, or I tend to see people exhibiting this really bad habit of forgetting that people are people. Just because someone disagrees with you, it doesn't make them inhuman. We tend to try and demonize people for the beliefs or the understandings or the perspectives that they personally hold, and throw insults instead of trying to understand where they're coming from. I'm not saying you have to agree with the person to treat them like a person. I'm saying that it can be very, very challenging to separate the value and worth of a person as themselves, just for existing, from the ideas that they hold. There are some people who believe some really harmful, hurtful things, but dehumanizing those people or devaluing them based off of their own understanding is not going to help move the conversation along. It's not going to help you grow as a person. It's not going to help lift them up to a better understanding. I think that we we all tend to see ourselves as the hero of the story. We all tend to see ourselves as the one who is right. And there are very few times in your life, I challenge you to find a point in time where you're doing something that you actively see as being the wrong thing. Not something that you have justified and said, well, I'm really the good guy here. I'm really making a good decision, but I maybe it's not the best, most ideal way to go about it. I'm not talking about that. If you can find one point in your life where you did something where you're saying, this is bad and I'm wrong and I'm doing it, it's very rare that we can actually point that out within ourselves. That happens on both sides of a sensitive topic. The people who feel very, very strongly in one direction should aspire to realize that the people on the opposite side feel every bit as correct in their understanding of the situation that you do. So devaluing that person because they disagree with you and calling them something like ignorant or evil or whatever kind of label that you give to that person, and instead of trying to put yourself in their position and understand them from their perspective, it doesn't allow you to interact with them in a very effective way, especially if you feel like your opinion is an ultimate truth. If you feel like the thing that you're trying to get across is the real truth and is valuable, not just some petty discussion where it's, I liked this movie and you didn't, so we're going to fight about it now. I don't think there's any harm in having those kinds of disagreements. I don't think there's any harm in having some bigger disagreements and still being able to respect each other. But when you devalue the person based off of their understanding or situation, that their system of beliefs, you really lose your ability to even be able to raise them up to a higher sense of understanding. You can't convince someone of a point or of a perspective by starting off the conversation by insulting them, telling them they're wrong, belittling them, and putting them on the defensive right away. You can't say, you're wrong, you're stupid, I'm smarter than you, and I know the truth and you're just wrong, you're not even worth talking to. If you feel like the truth that you have, if you feel like your understanding of a situation is so much better and more complete, then perhaps if you're already willing to put it out there, maybe that thing deserves enough respect from you to be willing to stand behind it and defend it in a way that doesn't result to personal attacks on another person and belittling them just because you can't stand behind your own argument. If you believe something's the truth, it should be able to stand up to criticism. And those little chambers I was talking about on the internet, where we tend to group with the people who already agree with us, that becomes an echo chamber. It doesn't challenge your own understanding of something, and you actually lose the ability to support your own understandings, beliefs, and claims when you cut everyone else out. You see this all the time on Facebook or Instagram posts where someone will say something and then they'll make an original post, and then someone will come in and have a dissenting opinion about it, and instead of engaging in a real discussion with that person and trying to relate to why they feel that way, and then if they are ignorant to the subject, instead of just calling them stupid, trying to bring up their understanding and explain your position. If you just shut them down or block them or tell them that this is my page and your opinion doesn't matter here, you end up just talking to people who already agree with you. And if your goal is to increase if your goal is to raise other people up, and you have this idea that you think is the truth, if your mission statement in life is to help other people understand the things that you have worked to improve your own understanding of, then you should try and expand the reach that you have by engaging with people that disagree with you. It doesn't do you any good in moving your position forward and bringing more people to this better understanding if you are just standing in a crowd of people that already are on your side. You have to try and get some other people involved in the conversation, especially the people that disagree with you, because those are the ones who need to hear what you have to say if what you have to say is in fact the truth. And that can be very difficult. And I think that it takes what I would consider a coach's mindset. One of my favorite opinions on coaching, one of the things that I like to really put my own belief in I guess it's just this idea I've really clung to by a coach that I really admire. His name's Weldon Green. Is that when asked if he's ever encountered someone who is uncoachable or what makes an athlete uncoachable, his response is, I don't believe that there's such a thing as an uncoachable athlete. I just believe that there are coaches who are not yet adequate or skilled enough to deal with that athlete. And that doesn't mean that you can't find some people that are really resistant to the ideas you're saying, but I think it offers you this really this good opportunity to be self-reflective in your own approach and figure out why the person isn't being receptive to what you're saying. And to one of the biggest kind of personal breakthroughs that I have had from thinking about that is do you want to say what you want to say, or do you want to say what will actively help this person get to a better understanding and get the result that you're looking for? If the result you're looking for is to change someone's mind and improve their understanding of your position, are you just going to say what you want to say because you want to feel smarter and you want to that's when you say I'm right, here's why I'm right, and doing all these things? Or are you going to put in the extra effort to understand what it is that they need to hear to come to that better understanding? If you truly believe that you are in the right and you have kind of the moral high ground, you're putting yourself in that position already of saying that I'm correct in this and this other person is wrong, do you actually want to change their mind and improve their own understanding of it? Or do you just want to continue to tell them that you're right? That's not going to help them. You're not going to insult them and shame them into coming around to your way of seeing things. You're going to shut them down, and it actually is actively hurting your position to shut other people down like that. So I guess what I really am trying to get at here is it's okay to not be the person who wants to change the world. But if you're the person who's standing there saying that I want to help others and I want to be the change that I'm hoping to see in the world, and I'm trying to bring other people to my understanding, and I'm trying to share knowledge and impart wisdom on others, as so many people seem to do from their social media platforms, I highly encourage you to be self-reflective in the way that you go about doing that, and do it in a way that has the chance at being effective, because it doesn't make any sense to go about it in a way that is just going to not work. You have every right to do that. You can be the person who blows up and gets emotionally offended that someone else disagrees with your understanding, or you can try to actually put in the time and be patient with that person if it's worth it to you. If that understanding, if that idea is so important to you that you feel like other people should come to that conclusion, then it's on you to put in the time and the effort and the patience to engage in that person in a kind, respectful way and try to bring them up instead of just brushing them off as not being worthwhile, because people are people and we have to start treating them like people if we ever hope to bring up their understanding. And there are going to be times when you won't change someone's mind, and you also have to recognize that that's an okay thing. People can have different opinions from you and not be bad people, but if you really have to put forth the effort to not give up on them if you really believe that your position is the one that's correct. And it takes more work than most of us can do. I don't know if I can handle it most of the time. There are a few people that I've just said I can't continue to put enough of my time and effort and energy into trying to bring this person around. But maybe that's because I don't care about that thing as strongly as I claim to in those situations. Maybe it's not what I would hold as the most important perspective to share with everyone else. But if that is how highly you consider your truth to be important, then I highly encourage you to take the steps needed to actually be effective in the way that you share that with other people. And instead of cutting everyone else off and shutting them down, to challenge yourself to be more open to treating them with kindness and respect in that. And it also allows you to be more open-minded if you put yourself in their try to place yourself in their perspective and get a better understanding of where they're coming from. It actually helps you learn and grow more. As soon as you are right on every single thing, there's nothing left to learn. Let me know, because I can't find a time in my life that I can point to where I knew more than I know now. And right now I'm constantly thinking that I don't know enough and want to learn more. Because that's just how we operate as people. There's so much more understanding for us to find, and we don't have all the answers. And as soon as you open yourself up to that potential, that there's other ideas that you may not understand now, but you will have the chance to learn and grow through in the future, that is what allows you to keep progressing as a person in whatever aspect of life it may pertain to. So thank you guys for listening to that. I know that was quite a lot to take in. But I appreciate it if you stuck it out this long. I have a lot of other things coming forward in the next few days, weeks, trying to get caught up with the video footage, and I have a lot more of these kinds of things that I want to talk about. So thank you so much, and I will talk to you all very soon. I hope you're having a great day. Bye.